What is going on, Colorado soccer fans? Welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. Today we have a jam-packed episode between vacations, being sick, and a whole bunch of other shenanigans. It's been a while, but we are back, and boy, are we better than ever today. I am your host, Baylor, joined today, as always, I guess on this side, Alex. How we doing today, Alex?
I'm doing phenomenal. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there. Excited to see these blue skies after all of that snow.
I know, man. I know. Clearing it all away. It's slowly starting to melt already.
Well, for a quick rundown for the show, we are going to start out with some very big Colorado Bucks news, followed by an interview. Very special guests on this one today. Super excited. And then we are going to do some catch up with the Colorado Rapids and then hop into some worldwide soccer towards the very end if we have time. But you wanna talk about the news, Alex?
Okay, we got big news. Let me tell you about it. Okay. The MLIS next year will be introducing a women's league for the indoor format. So you've got the Colorado Bucks men team, and now you've got the Colorado Bucks women team, which some might call them the Colorado Does, but that's beside the point. Okay, it's the Bucks. Okay, we're gonna stick with that.
Let's go Bucks.
And yeah, so we're excited. I mean, the women are gonna play. There was a press conference about it last night. I don't think we have a whole lot of fleshed out details, but the biggest thing that we know right now is that we've got women gonna play indoor, representing the Colorado Bucks, and it's gonna be awesome.
And that is extremely significant as they're the only professional women's sports team in Colorado, which is so exciting. It is such a privilege to be able to have a team come into this state, and with such a great organization, I can't think of a better place to start. And go ahead and address your facial situation there.
I just realized this was the first show we've done without it. It's been like 2 weeks now, 2.5 weeks or something since we've done a show.
Yeah.
I was tired of it. I was just tired of it. All right. I'm back to my clean shaven self. I feel good about it. I'm happy. Everybody has said that I've lost 10 years except for Baylor. That's why he's my friend. He doesn't kiss my ass all the time. Baylor's the only one who hasn't complimented me on it, but that's okay. Okay.
I'm big on the beards. So.
Yeah, no, we're doing good. I'm happy with it.
So yeah, this the women's team going to be introduced in the 24-25 season with the women's league for the MLIS indoor soccer. The Bucks have signed 2 players, and we are going to have both of them on in a few minutes. But this is exciting. Starting out not just one team in one team, but the very next year starting a whole separate team. Right. I can't even imagine what Francesca and Joshua are going through, starting a whole nother team. I didn't see this coming at all. This is super exciting. I mean, how do you even start 2 franchises at once? But 2 people that have been crushing it so far with this one. If the talent acquisition is anywhere the same as they've done with the men's team, I'm super excited to see what this is going to be like, and to get in at that ground floor, not being walking into a league that has a bunch of teams that have been there, done that. That's going to be great. Brand new league with this brand new team, not the newcomer. Everyone's the newcomer this time.
Yeah, for sure. That was not the news I was expecting. We got a little bit of a preview. We knew that something was coming, big announcement this week, and then bam, women's team coming out. And the really exciting thing about it is the fact that, it is the first one in Colorado, because women's soccer in America has been growing pretty well. I mean, the NWSL does so well. Those teams are so much fun to watch, and, especially in the playoffs and the finals. Every year, it is just an exciting time. And so the fact that, Colorado hasn't jumped in on that league, and this is where we're going to introduce women's soccer to the state, is that's really exciting for that to see it at that indoor level because as we've talked about, it's a different kind of game too. That fast-paced environment,
Fast paced and physical.
Yeah, it makes it fun for sure. So
Well, and one thing that I was thinking about is when you watch women's soccer games, like the physicality level is identical to the men's game. Like there is zero drop off, at least with the outdoor game. I have never watched indoor soccer before this season at all, so I couldn't tell you what women's looks like, and I only know what I've seen so far this season. But I fully expect it to be just as physical, just as fast paced, and a very similar game to the men's. And and that's one thing about women's soccer is, first of all, USA has got a great women's soccer program, that's for sure. So getting that here, and I don't think there's going to be any shortage of talented women to play in this league and for this team, and giving them a chance to break in with this into this indoor market in such a new space, and growing both teams together is going to be really cool.
Yeah, and to your point, I think the women's game is even more physical because I think in general the men, like, they'll flop more, like the slightest touch, and that's what we get frustrated with in soccer.
Absolutely. There's way less flopping.
Dude, they don't do that. They'll smack into each other and they'll knock each other to the ground and they'll get right back up and get back in it. And that's what I'm saying with the NWSL, like, especially in the playoffs when they're fighting for those opportunities. Like, dude, it's such a fun game to watch. They beat each other up out there, and it's just like, that's the kind of soccer that's what I grew up playing. Shoulder to shoulder, knock them to the ground, and if you get knocked down, get back up. Like, I wasn't taught to flop growing up, so I understand it, I get it, I know that it's part of the game, and that's kind of the way it's gone, especially when those European teams dominate the meta, if you will. But I think the American game is a physical game. It should be a physical game. I think that's what we should represent. And so, anytime you get that opportunity, and especially in an indoor facility when it's already tight quarters, that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, and with and like you were saying, with being taught that, I was always taught, you play that whistle, you don't play for a whistle. And you see a lot of that in the women's game. You see a lot more of that in the MLS men's game compared to comparatively, but definitely the women's, anytime you watch any sort of international women's game, they throw their body at each other. They use their weight, they use their shoulders, they play aggressively, they attack the ball, and they stop when the whistle is blown. You don't see a lot of the begging and the pleading with the refs or the rolling around, and you don't see the magic spray come out.
Did you see any of the videos from the women's team versus, I think it was Colombia, in this Women's Gold Cup just now? They had it was just like a physical, it was one of those, like, it was like off the ball kind of physicality. You know how, like, you kind of get in each other's heads when the plays kind of stopped? It was the Colombian women were just like pushing the girls around, and they were not having it, dude. They were like, dude, you better get out of my way. Like, they had their hands up and they're shouting at the ref, like, dude, this is obnoxious. Like, it's actually a pretty fun video to watch because they really got into it. That was a pretty heated quarterfinal, maybe round of 16. Not sure which stage that was in.
Well, they definitely, there's a level of passion that is very, very visible in the women's game at any level, at all levels of soccer, and it's really fun. So I'm super excited to learn more about the women's indoor game, and who better to talk to about it than our interviews today. Let's go ahead and take the time and welcome in. We got Samantha Murray and we have Audrey Osgood, two newest signings for the Colorado Bucks women's team. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, good. Thank you so much for having us. We're really looking forward to talking a little bit more about the whole indoor women's vibe and stuff like that. So
you guys are having us.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, first of all, we're just going to open up with a very simple, straightforward question. Audrey, I'll let you answer first, but the question is for both of you. Just tell us a little bit about your background, where your soccer journey began, and how it ultimately led you to this point where you're signing with a professional sports team.
Absolutely. So I've pretty much been playing soccer my whole life. I started, super young, played a little bit of rec, and then actually played my first time playing indoor. I had a coach come up to me and ask me if I had ever played or considered playing for a little bit more competitive team, and I hadn't really ever considered it. And so then decided to join what was Greeley Bootleggers at the time. Greeley Bootleggers isn't a thing anymore. They are now Greeley Rush, but played for them for a little bit, and then played in my high school team at Frontier Academy in Greeley. Was actually lucky enough to be the only freshman who made starting varsity, was the starting 11, and opened my eyes to a little bit more competitive soccer. Got the chance to really go against some girls who kind of meant business, and it wasn't rec league anymore. And then after my high school years, I had a couple opportunities to play at some colleges and had turned them down, and decided to do club for the University of Northern Colorado. And that was a great experience, a little bit more competitive. And then after playing club for UNC, I moved to Arizona, and soccer kind of fell off my radar a little bit, focused on school. And then actually met my boyfriend that I have now, and he is also a player of the Colorado Bucks boys team, and had introduced me to the owners, the Bucks, and I was super honored to get the opportunity to play for the women's team. So really looking forward to getting back into soccer and stuff like that. So
that's super cool. So it sounds like you're from Colorado, originally native here.
I'm so sorry, I can't hear. I don't know if that's on my end or not.
No, you're all right. We got your whole answer pretty clear, so not a problem. Sam, what about you?
So I played rec soccer. I'm originally from Utah, so I started playing rec soccer there. My brother played. He's about 4 years older than me, and I saw him play at like 7 or 8 years old, and I was like, yeah, can't be that hard if he can do it. So I started playing then. I didn't start playing competitive soccer until my family moved to Japan. My dad is in the military, or was in the military, so we moved to Japan. I started on the Brazilian soccer club, which was about half American, half Japanese. That's where I first started playing center back, which is my current position. Was we were playing like a co-ed type of tournament, and my coach was like, "We need a center back, Sam, do it." And ever since then, I've been playing. From there, I played on 2 other Japanese soccer teams. One was Vixale, really good team in Japan, and after that, I transitioned over to the Diegos. That was about 18-ish years old. I played with them for probably the next 3 or 4 years. We got all the way up to the semi with the time, and the Japanese team with experience, and I think here I am. My freshman year also in Japan, MLIS, which is like the state's equivalent of state, essentially. We did really well there. We got 2nd or 3rd place. Moved back to Utah, played high school there, played with Forza, and we eventually went independent, and I went to a team called Rise, and then another team, the Coas. My high school was really bad. Honestly, I loved it just because the girls were so sweet, and as a defender, I got like a lot of practice. After, I wasn't sure if I wanted to play college. I felt like I was pretty content with my career at that point. So I had one coach that basically said, like, you're an idiot if you just waste all this like effort and talent. So I was like, cool, I'll go to a school then. So I went to Laramie County Community College in Wyoming. My coach, going to visit 2 times, weathered.
Ooh. I think we lost her.
I think we lost her. One sec.
So
there we go.
Gamble on me. Came in, freshman, we made it to nationals. We didn't go size or anything. So great. And we didn't make it, but it still was a great opportunity.
Oh, one moment, Sam. We're losing you.
We got some technical difficulties.
Not a problem. If you just want to go ahead and reconnect, Samantha, if you can hear us, we'll get you right back in. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. Sometimes technology can be finicky. Well, while we were trying to get Sam back, Audrey, you said you play all outdoor soccer then?
Uh-oh.
Oh no. We do not have audio for you. One moment. Got Sam back. There we go.
It's chaos.
No, you are good. One moment. Now we're trying to get a mic back for Audrey. Give me 1 second. All right. Give us a shout. We still can't hear you. If you want to, Audrey, if you want to bounce out and bounce back in, we'll add you back in a second and we'll chat with Sam for a sec. All right.
Okay,
you were talking about making it second. You're second or third place in the state competition, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So in college, was I talking about college?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my freshman year, we made it to nationals, which was great. Then my sophomore year, I was captain, and unfortunately, we didn't make it to nationals, but it was still super great just to work with everybody. From there, I went to Regis College here in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
I've met my coach here or my team here. It was super fun to play with them, and I just finished with them in the fall. And I've since moving to Denver, I got Let's Play Soccer in North Glen, which there I play in the women's league. I play in the the co-ed teams. I've gotten a lot of opportunity to play outdoors with a lot of the girls there. And as you know, like the Bucks will sometimes play there. My manager, coach for Colorado Bucks. So, and my boyfriend, who's also on the team, I met him at my junior college. Brian he also plays on the team. So just like all those interconnectedness, I got to talk to Josh and Francesca and get to know them a little bit, which ultimately led to the opportunity of signing with the team.
That's very cool. And is your experience all outdoor?
Yes, basically. Only time I've played indoor has been for fun. In Japan, we played a lot of futsal, like on a basketball court style, which was super fun, and I think super important for the style that we'll be playing this season.
Absolutely. We've Alex has definitely talked about futsal on this show and relating it to the indoor game and how skills like that directly translate into these tight quarters that you're going to be seeing in the indoor game. All right, Audrey, welcome back. Can we see if your mic's working?
Yeah, sorry about that. Technology.
It's all right.
We can hear you. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Alex now.
So actually real quick, just wanted to follow up. So Samantha, you said that was it Brian Vasquez that you're dating on the team?
Yeah.
And Audrey, you said you also have a connection on the team.
Yes. My boyfriend is Josh Thompson.
Josh Thompson. Nice. Okay. Yeah, both of those guys are fun to watch. That's a cool bit of information. So I guess we kind of touched on, how you guys found, the opportunity for to join the team. So what's next right now? Like what's going on? What's going on in your lives right now as this gets kicked off, and what are you guys looking at?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's super exciting to even just be able to be like, hey, I'm a part of the first women's indoor professional atmosphere. Hopefully what's next is that we get to grow this community more. We get to introduce it to a lot more women who maybe have the skill level to play at the professional level, also the interest and the drive, introduce them a little bit more to the professional atmosphere, and then grow this club. And I think honestly that would be really exciting to be able to be like, yeah, I was a part of the introduction part of it, and now we want to grow it and make it this big thing. So I think that would be what my next goal is to introduce this level of play and We're starting our kickoffs or kick-arounds in May. So if anybody's interested in joining us, please do. But yeah, that's the next goal, is to really grow this team and introduce it to many different people.
Awesome.
And then same for me. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
On a personal level, I want to definitely start. Like I said, I play at the indoor and I use my cleats. I want to start using, turf shoes, because I feel like it's such a different game.
Mm-hmm.
Even playing in like tennis shoes, just mess around, and I always miss because I think I have my stud. So like getting used to that and like condition for that, I think is different. For the team, how Audrey said, just we're going to start kick-arounds here at the end of April, May, have a little tryout situation. And then the next tryouts will be in September and October so far. I've already started reaching out to a few of the girls at the indoor that I play with, just to get like the idea going, get some people who can come out and just try it out, even if they're not super interested yet in being on the team. And reaching out to old college friends and just trying to get the word out there as much as possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It is basically, as far as what we know right now, is that there will be a team. You two are on it. Is there any other information that you guys know that, is kind of that you could share with us as far as to, how this is going to look and what's going on?
Shareable information.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead. Sorry, no, go ahead.
So as far as we know, we know that we're going to start doing our, kick-arounds, get to know people here in the next couple of months. And then, it's kind of all we know. We know a little bit about, we're going to be able to travel with our indoor males Bucks team. But, here with the next couple of months coming up, we're just kind of looking more towards bringing people in, getting to know people, letting them know kind of what's going on, and then just kind of building and growing from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to know. Baylor, you're muted.
Sorry. If you ever need a platform to talk about or get the word out there, definitely let us know how we can be of any assistance for y'all. We're super excited about this and want to help in any way we can to help grow this, get the word out there, like you said.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate this. To come on and talk, and your guys' will to speak to us, I guess, and help share the word.
Of course. No. And like we said at the very start, this being the first ever professional women's sports team in Colorado is, or the only one, it's incredible. It's super exciting that it's a scene in such an athletic state that we're all about our sports, all of our sports, every single one. We're so active. Everyone's always, out moving about, hiking. It's weird that we don't have a women's sports scene here, and I can't think of a better way to start than with soccer. And you're definitely starting with a great crew here. I'm sure you know that, but everybody with the Colorado Bucks organization has been so fantastic with us. I can only imagine how they're going to treat y'all through all of this. So we're definitely excited to get to know you and the organization better. So again, let us know how we can be of any assistance.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we really appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to come out here and talk a little bit about it. Hopefully us being on this kind of introduces the idea to some other women who were kind of itching to play a little bit, and this kind of pushes them a little bit to introduce themselves and be a part of our team.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time to join us and fighting through the technical difficulties. We look forward to getting to know you and speaking with you more, especially once things start to get rolling a little bit more. We're going to be having some questions, and we'll be happy to chat with you.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right.
Thanks, you guys too.
Thank
Bye.
you. You too.
Look at that.
It's awesome.
At that. Women's sports team in Colorado. Long overdue. Hold on. I think these are kick around dates for the the women's team for anyone who needs to know.
I'll write that
out.
down. I'll do some recruiting in my co-ed leagues.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And your coaching tree, get the word out. If there's anybody, any women coaches that would want to play?
Not anymore. There were some when I first started coaching with the Rapids, but
hunt them down.
They disappeared, man. I don't know.
Hunt them down. We will build a team here, and it will be great.
No, but I've played with some talented women in the co-ed, the adult leagues that I play in.
Oh yeah,
and I've already got some names in mind. I'll send them those dates, and I would love to see them go out there because I'm sure they could do it.
Oh yeah, what a blast! Well, while we are talking about the Bucks, should we talk about the other Bucks briefly? I feel like it's been. Did we miss anything?
The Milwaukee Bucks. No, the men's team.
The men's team. The men's Bucks.
So we left it with our interview 2 weeks ago as they were heading into Chicago. It was the doubleheader in Chicago, which didn't go our way, to say the least. It was a struggle. It was a little bit of a struggle. There were some high moments, some good moments to walk away from. I think, what was it? I mean, let me take a look at the scores, because the first game, I mean, the score line shows that it was close-ish in both. But I'm pretty sure that the first game was much more competitive. We showed up. We were definitely more in the game throughout the entire game. We lost 9-5 in that one. But overall, like a strong competitive effort. The game the next day, though, was just groggy. I mean, they were slow. They just did not seem to be on their top game. The only high point that we got out of that, one of the biggest high points, I should say, not only, but Taz, that latest player that has joined, really had a breakout game. I mean, incredible performance from him in that Sunday game. They lost 14-9, which was way closer than it was when I had to walk away. I had to go coach, but it was I'm pretty sure it was 5-14 at one point. It was definitely a massive margin. So they definitely showed up in the fourth quarter, and I didn't get to go back and see it, but it was just a tough trip. Put it in the past and move on to what I believe. I mean, I think we should have 2 more games left, and we've got the Bucks in the chat, so maybe they can help us out with that, because we've got the Grand Rapids game. So they're saying last game, but we were supposed to play Omaha at home, and then we had to cancel because the Foothills Fieldhouse closed down. Yes. And we never rescheduled that one. So that's my question is what happened with that game. But at the moment, Grand Rapids versus Denver is the last game, March 23rd. That's next Saturday, right?
Yeah, that's a week from tomorrow.
So that'll be an interesting one. I mean, we haven't seen Grand Rapids. They've had, looks like they're down to 500. They're 3-3 on the season. They had a much better start.
Winnable game. That's what
I'm saying. Yeah, it should be. They lost to Chicago, which I'm not working on makeup game. Okay, as long as we're getting it, because I wanted to see Omaha again. I wanted to see us, demonstrate.
I want to see the progress pics.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. March 9th. So the Lima game wasn't posted. Maybe Grand Rapids is actually 4-3, but they lost to Cleveland as well. So interesting. Defending champs. Not defending. Yeah. Wait. Yes. Defending champs. Got to get that one straight. Grand Rapids. Defending champs are not having the best season. So I guess we'll see. March 23rd, next Saturday. We'll see how that one goes. I guess we'll see what we can bring. It'll be interesting because we've had quite the break, It
has been quite the hiatus, especially with all of the cancellations, with all of the snow we've been having this year. It's like the snow we've been getting has been coming in absolute tons when we do get it, and then it takes a break. And it just really liked to snow on any event happening at Foothills for the Bucks. And I'm sure that threw off rhythm, that threw off expectations. You're getting yourself mentally ready for a game, and then all of a sudden it's not happening. And then you got to wait to figure out when you're going to play it again. It's just another challenge. It's something else to grapple with in the ups and downs of the season. But weather's going to weather, and what can you do about that?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I will put as a positive for this is that we were basically supposed to be done. That our schedule was the early end. We were supposed to be done by now.
Yes.
And then whatever's going on with the playoffs, which I don't think we have an update on.
Other than it's being hosted in Omaha.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah, that was posted on. I think that was the MLIS site,
Okay.
or that might have been on the Bucks site. But yeah, there was an announcement that Omaha, I believe, was gonna host the finals weekend.
The final game.
I don't know.
Not all of the playoffs.
It said finals weekend, so I'm assuming if it's a semifinal and a final, yeah, it's probably just one weekend.
Okay. Well, good to know.
There you go.
April 13th, Final Four, and April 15th for the finals. Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, we would have been on this really long break going into the playoffs if
it's getting us fresh.
Right, exactly. So we'll at least have some games to keep us going. So that'll be good.
Excellent.
We just don't have word on like if we have a chance, do we? Like, we don't have a word on if it's just going to be 4 or every team qualifies.
As far as I know.
Okay.
But
all right. We will patiently wait.
We will. And
Good
it's all right.
Come to those who wait.
We have plenty of time until April 13th. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a minute. So what do we got next?
Well, that should give us a good old segue into the Rapids, which we got to just 4 and we are out. The Bucks are out of the playoffs. No playoffs. So, hey, leave it all out on the field. Grand Rapids.
Absolutely.
Beat
them. Ruin their chances.
Bring it to the defending champs, and then Omaha, show them what we've learned throughout the season. That's, bam, done. Go out on a good note.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So, to the Rapids and the launch of MLS. I mean, we have had quite a bit of MLS action since we spoke last.
Talk about the Portland game?
I don't think so.
Good.
I don't think
we need to. All right. Let's move on to Nashville.
You went out of town. So
we watched part of that game.
Yeah, we scored a goal. We scored 2. One was an own goal and one was for us. So that was
Sammy
awesome.
Vines, welcome home, buddy.
Woo! Calvin Harris, the famous DJ, plays soccer now and is lighting it up on the field. Except he did get benched for the last game. That was the only change that Coach Chris Armas made going into the Salt Lake game. The lineup has been pretty consistent, and then Calvin Harris benched, and they brought in Omir Fernandez, I believe, which he did not have the best performance. I'm pretty sure, if I remember this correctly, he even was in the way for a goal. Like, we should have scored, and he did not get out of the way for it. So that one upset me. But yeah, that was him. Omir Fernandez, Calvin Harris subbed in for him in the 67th minute during the Real Salt Lake game, which we won. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
I was really surprised about that, but let's talk about Nashville first.
Yeah. So home opener, you and I went. We got to sit up in the suite because the Rapids love us. They're like, hey, look at these guys doing this Club and Country podcast. Let's set them up in the suites and make them famous for a day.
That's exactly what it was when we paid absolutely nothing for those tickets.
Yeah. No, we
sold our season tickets and upgraded.
Yes. Yeah. No, we just took advantage of an upgrade. But it was awesome. Suite tickets were cool. We were very high up, and we got to see, a little bit more of a tactical perspective on the game instead of our usual up close in their face, be able to, talk some smack to the players. They couldn't hear us from where we were. But it was an interesting one. Nashville is a solid team, and the fact that we walked away with a draw definitely should have been a win, but we also didn't score a goal on our own account. They scored an own goal for us, so that's the only reason we got the goal and we got the tie. Zach Steffen with a little bit of a slow start. I mean, he had one really good save in that game, and everybody went nuts for it. It was a solid effort, but really the biggest thing was the defense. I mean, we just didn't allow shots, and that carried through into the next game as well. We allowed 7 shots.
So Calvin Harris did in the Nashville game and in the time when he was subbed on or when he was subbed off. Fernandez was able to take 2 shots, one of which was on target, which explains the switch for the Salt Lake game, because in less time he was able to make more. That's what I've been looking at, very buried in my phone, just looking at ESPN stats because I'm like that.
That's good. That's good to know, because I didn't have an issue with the change. Definitely want to switch things up, try everything out. You don't want to go into this brand new season with all this new talent and just be like, this is the way. Like, no, there are multiple ways. And so we'll figure it out.
Helmet up.
Exactly. Relax. Nashville's a good team. I mean, they've had a solid run in the Champions Cup. We'll get into that in a little bit. They're fun to watch. I've seen a lot of how they play over the last few weeks as a result, and I'll take the draw against them.
I don't like that because it just when it goes the way it does, like it's not like you got beat there. You made a mistake in stoppage time and gave them. You gave away 2 points on that one.
Yeah. I mean, so we're talking about
your home opener. You have the crowd jazzed up because they're counting down the time to the first win they've watched at Dick's Sporting Goods in however long, and then it just completely wrecks the entire mood.
Yeah. Right. Jonathan Lewis with that handball, it was just silly. There's just no reason for it. And that's the thing. I just feel like by the way we played in that game, I wouldn't say that we deserved to walk away with a win. We were about to skate by with one. And that's how it felt against the Salt Lake game as well. I think that we kind of skated by with a win in Salt Lake, which again, I'll take the 3 points on the road against a rivalry team.
I was gonna say road points, skating by and taking points out from underneath the feet of a rival on the road is a lot different than gifting a point to somebody and throwing away 2 at home.
Right. Yeah. No, and certainly. And that's the thing is that, the big thing to point out is that we've been competitive. We've got really good strengths
except
in
for the
certain areas.
Game.
Yeah, right off.
Throw it away. Just throw it away.
Who cares? We've had really good moments where we do certain things really well and we do certain things not very well. And overall, that Real Salt Lake game, I think we just got dominated, but we just turned it around. I mean, we made the most out of our opportunities, and Salt Lake didn't quite do that. Salt Lake was kind of asleep at the wheel for what I believe that they're capable of this season.
I'd really like this is something I've been pounding the table for years now. It just finishing. It feels like nobody knows what to do in the final third. Like there's lots of like, I guess I'll just toss it into the box now. Yeah. Or like, no, you take it. No, I'm going to cross it, but I'm going to long cross it and switch the field. It's like, why are we switching the field in this? Just put it in the middle. Or like, people trying to get too fancy and dribbling themselves up against an end line. I just don't feel like whenever we have the ball in the attacking third, we're a real threat.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
And I feel like it's been that way for years, regardless of how good, even when we were first in the West that one year. That was 100% on the back of goaltending and defense. Like, it's not like we were lighting up the scoreboard. And that's why we got exposed in the playoffs in the first round. You need to put the ball in the net at the end of the day. And if you look at the games we've played, we've scored 1 goal in each game. The penalty I'm not going to count because that's a penalty. Good, you should put that in the back of the net in Salt Lake.
Yeah, but we also didn't score in Nashville because it was an own goal. So,
but it wasn't like it was an own goal caused by a dangerous play. Yeah, it wasn't like somebody ripping a shot at their own net.
Well, most own goals are not.
It wasn't a Watts own goal, where it's not
like a really bad mistake.
It wasn't the goal didn't happen because Nashville just biffed it, and that was it. Like the Rapids were in a dangerous area, and it was an unlucky bounce for Nashville. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we have 1 goal, 1 natural goal in each game, and it just needs to be better.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is that oh god, yeah, that is sloppy. I think that the positive that we're looking at right now is that we have a defense first type of thing. The offense is going to come out, and the biggest difference that it's going to come from is Rafael Navajo. Like, the way when you're talking about the attacking third, like who's going to crack one, it should be him, and he just doesn't really look at those chances. Like, I don't know. It's a little odd. There's a few opportunities that I saw, especially in the Salt Lake game. I think one of those was, I know for a fact it was in the Salt Lake game. I was looking at something that Navajo was doing, and it was just like, why aren't you shooting that right now? Just take the rebound and put it right back at the net. Like, that's a goal if you just place it right. And I think he's just overthinking it in the box. So the sooner we can get to a point where we're just having that confidence to rip one, and like, I'll take the PK, get him the feeling of putting one in the back of the net, and then just, hey, let's see how we can actually do that naturally in the games going forward. And I think, honestly, a really big test on the road on Saturday in Seattle. We will be primetime on Fox, so that's going to be really fun. I'm excited for that. We just haven't got a lot of primetime action since that Thanksgiving game. I don't think any really since the Thanksgiving game, mostly because Apple TV is kind of taken over. But Fox comes in on the weekends and they do their thing. I think we've been seeing a lot more primetime day games so far this season. Like, every Saturday we've had a few primetimes. And so that's what we're looking at. Seattle versus Colorado. A road trip to Lumen Field is never fun. And that's going to be the biggest question mark. I mean, we couldn't get it done in Portland. Can we get on the road and get up to Seattle in that stadium and just be competitive, not get smoked like we did in Portland? That's the biggest thing that I'm looking for. If we can put one in the back of the net naturally, that's going to be the biggest key. And it's a lot of confidence coming home to two home games in a row.
Yeah, we really need, it's kind of a really brutal schedule to start the year.
Yeah.
On the road in Portland, the big rival of ours, at home against Nashville, who is clearly no pushover. They've been a decent team since joining the league. Mm-hmm. And then you go on the road to RSL, who's been
solid and
dunking on people. And then now you're on the road to Seattle. It's like,
yeah. And the thing about RSL is, like, it's a rivalry game. That's the thing. It's like, do we want that so early?
Well, and that's what I'm saying with the Timbers too, and Seattle. Like, those are all teams that you feel like those are games that, like, for me at least, when I see those on the schedule, I'm like, oh man, that's a big game.
Right.
And that's 3 of the 4 and the home opener in consecutive weeks to start the year. That's a lot of high running emotion. I'm wondering if there's maybe going to be a crash of that, or if that getting out of the way will be like clarity, you know?
Yeah, it should be pretty solid as we ease into the summer. I mean, the nice thing is that we'll come home and face Houston, which is, Houston's solid. They're in the Champions Cup. They did get eliminated by Columbus, but they competed, and that was the thing. You know, it's a big tournament to go out there. Houston's solid, but we're gonna face them at home. But then again, facing tough teams, we're gonna see LAFC at home. That'll be a day game where Hugo Lloris is in net, so our chances of scoring just dropped a little, compared to where we already were. And then right after that, we go back on the road to play Miami. So, it's a rough go to start, but
really packing together the important games, I guess.
Yeah. But then, we'll go on the road and hit San Jose, and we'll host Dallas. Dallas is a wild card. That's a coin toss this year. They were solid last year. They still have some of that same talent, which is not sure how it's going. I think it's Ferreira is their main scorer. He's the guy who's playing for the national team for us, and he just hasn't been performing so far this season. So we'll see. But, big test Saturday in Lumen, in Seattle.
I mean, I hate the Sounders so much.
Who doesn't?
And I hate the color scheme of Seattle.
Yeah. The Emerald City.
They bug me, man.
Yeah.
They bug me. And it's always a big game to me, but they're always a good team. They're a good measuring stick team. They're a good team that when you play them, you're like, all right, if we're getting beat up by this team, we're not really going to be super competitive this year. But if you can compete and even just stay in a game, man, if you can somehow get a point out of Seattle, I'd be overjoyed.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. And like I said, if you can just score a goal over there, like a good goal, especially like that, like I said, Navajo, that's the guy I'm looking for. I want to see him perform out there. That's my biggest look for the weekend.
Just rip it. Just take a rip.
Take it.
It's the point. It's the point of the game. The goal of the game is to score the goal, put the ball in the net, and this team needs it desperately.
Yeah, just send it. Just send it. So, I don't know. Anything else on MLS that you want to touch on?
Not particularly.
Okay. Well, we do have some MLS teams that are still alive in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which has been a great round of 16. That was a ton of fun. Philadelphia got absolutely smoked by, however you say that name, Pachuca or something. I didn't watch this matchup because there's no MLS teams. So Philadelphia, disappointment because they're a good team, and they smoked this team. This team got deleted by Philadelphia. So the fact that they came in and just got counter deleted, not good. This was fun. If there was one matchup to watch that wasn't an MLS matchup, this was a blast. I guess they came into this up 3-0, but Guadalajara bounced back in their home stadium, in America's home stadium, and made a show out of it. It was a fun game to watch, that second leg. I didn't watch too much of this one. New England got the job done. 4-0 at home, and then just went on the road, scored an away goal. So that's done, and we will see New England versus Club America in that quarterfinal matchup starting in April. And then over here, Columbus versus Houston was a crazy fun one. Houston, I'm pretty sure, snuck away with a goal in the last few minutes at home, but then well, that's not right. Columbus is the one that snuck away with the goal because Columbus won the thing. So that would be a 2-1, right? Yeah, it's the other way around. This was 1-0. Yeah, a lot of fun on that one. Tigres getting the job done against Orlando. I don't think Orlando stood a chance. So this is going to be an interesting one because Columbus is one of those teams that can take it to a Liga MX team. So Columbus versus Tigres is definitely one to keep an eye on. And then this one is just crazy. I mean, Nashville, like I said, this is where I've been watching a lot of Nashville play. Both of these legs, and especially the first one, was an absolute thriller to watch. Cincinnati falling just short of Monterrey, but this is the team. Monterrey is like the best right now, and this matchup is going to be like the first, I think,
an early final.
Yeah, honestly,
if they were on opposite sides, it would be the final.
Yeah, honestly, I would see, like, if it were on this side, I'd see Monterrey and America maybe here. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I think even this Columbus and Tigres always does well in this competition. Like, I think from here on out, it's really anyone's game. I don't know enough about these teams, but I mean, the way that these guys dispatched Philly, I think it was more Philly's downfall instead of this team being really good. But honestly, this is scary. This quarterfinal is scary, and it's going to be a ton of fun to watch the competition from here on out.
We'll make sure to keep track of that for sure.
Yeah. So we're getting right up there on the mark. And
we're just getting close to wrapping here. You got any want to touch on Champions League draws?
Yeah, I could mention it.
For 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Champions Leagues, that's the big one. That's the fun one.
Yeah.
We got the Champions League. The champions.
Not to be confused with the Champions Cup. The UEFA Champions League.
UEFA. The Champions Cup.
Quarterfinals 2024. Well, that's not it. Why can't I find it? Yeah, I've got it. All right. Yeah. We have Arsenal, who solid effort against Porto. Walked away with it. There was some controversial stuff going on in that matchup. They're going to play Bayern Munich. Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. This is going to be Munchen heavyweight matchup. We got Harry Kane on Bayern Munich coming back to play a Prem team, so that'll be interesting.
Do you see that if Harry Kane doesn't win a trophy with Bayern this year, his first year with Bayern will be the first year Bayern hasn't won a trophy in like 30 years or something stupid?
How are they even doing in Bundesliga?
They're not going to win the title.
Who's going to win? Is it BVB?
Dortmund.
It looks like Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen.
Let's go Bayern Leverkusen.
Dortmund's in 5th.
Yeah, the Bundesliga is all sorts of upside down this year.
Well, how many games are left? Because Bayern's only down by 10 points. There's still a few games. They could pull off a miracle.
Or they could win the Champions League.
Yeah, well, I think that'd be a bigger miracle. Yeah. Because you've got Atletico Madrid and Dortmund against each other. So I think Atletico Madrid has been like consistently solid in this competition. Like they've been fun to watch.
Oh yeah, no, Atletico always puts out.
Yeah. Must be nice. Real Madrid versus Manchester City. That'll be an interesting one. I don't really know where we're at with the Real Madrid Barcelona. Like once Ronaldo and Messi left, I haven't really followed. So you might be able to share some insight as to like how competitive these teams are on the club scale internationally.
They're good. They're nothing. They're not powerhouses anymore. But
yeah,
I mean, they're
made it to the quarterfinals. So
yeah, I mean
that's something.
They're there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the powerhouses in European soccer.
And then Paris. Paris versus Barcelona. Mbappe with Paris will play against Barcelona. So I mean, that's where we're at. Gonna try to tune in to as much as I can. They still make it difficult because I don't have Paramount Plus, so they make it a little difficult to follow.
That's tough.
It is tough. I am impoverished. But I'll definitely be tuning into Arsenal and Manchester City because I really only care about the Prem. So,
yeah, you're an elitist.
Yeah. I feel like an elitist could be applied to any of these teams. Like, these are the elitist teams, the most elitist teams out of their
you just
respective countries.
Prem and Prem only is elitist.
Why?
Because people that are like that think the Prem is the GOAT.
I don't think it's the GOAT. I just can follow it the easiest. I've got Peacock. Okay. I can follow it.
Okay, as far as watching it, that's fair. I thought you were like, fuck. I'm like, it's soccer, dude. That's all. The leagues are set up the same. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I've got Peacock, and honestly, like that's it. This the other thing is like, I can actually care about even like the terrible teams, in the Prem, like Germany. Like, you get outside of that Bayern and Dortmund, I do not care. And then same thing with Spain, like Atletico.
Bayern Leverkusen is pretty dang good, pretty consistently.
I mean, obviously, because they're in first place right now. But like, I try to watch those games, and it's like, hey, we got Werder versus Wolfsburg this weekend. I just like,
give me Columbus and Houston.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You know what?
Because that's what you want to watch.
It is what I want to watch.
Hey, at least it's watchable.
Exactly.
That's what matters.
Exactly.
Apple TV, everybody. Get
Apple TV, indeed.
Get it.
It's not a bad deal, actually. Do you know what the cost is for a season pass?
No, I don't.
$100 for MLS season pass for the season.
Nice.
It's not bad.
It's $100 value for us. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Covered quite a bit in there. Don't forget to tell your friends about the only Colorado women's sports team that we have here professionally.
And we'll tell you more about it.
And we will keep you updated when we are updated, and we will continue to chat with them and introduce them all to the community, as you are all the community, and we appreciate you all for watching this show and for tuning in and all of the support. So let's continue to support the Bucks and the Rapids and all of our local soccer teams. And Alex, I'll catch you on the next one.
I'll catch you on the next one, actually.
Not if I catch you first.
Uno reverse.
Later, guys.
All right.